In every adventure, every challenge, every trainer must make a choice. Grass, water, fire. Rock, paper, scissors. Tic-tac-toe, 3 in a row, G.I. Joe. A partner to see them through and through, to carry them through thick and thin. Yes, you know what I mean. The starter Pokemon. Everybody remembers their first starter. But which starter is the best? Which pulls its weight? Should we judge it on strength, design, abilities? I have no idea. But I can tell you the 5 I like best. Top 5 starters. Disclaimer, this is based purely on opinion, so if I don't have your favorite on here, I'm really sorry. I do like every single starter. By the way, I'm only considering the typical grass, water, and fire starters on here, so no Pikachu. Oh, and when I critique a starter, I am considering it for its whole evolutionary line. So Swampert or Marshtomp would be considered just as much as Mudkip. Okay, on to number 5.
Pokemon, I choose you!
Oh gosh, I love penguins. If birds were rated just on how awkwardly adorable they are, penguins would win no contest. And what is Piplup? A penguin. Okay, there's more to Piplup's line than just looks. But, oh, look at it! It's so stinking cute! Piplup isn't terribly awkward looking compared to other first stage evolutions. I mean, look at Wartortle. For some reason he's got those wings on his head. Blastoise and Squirtle don't have them. I believe I can fly. No, I can't because they're ears now for some reason. Same thing goes for Grovyle. Where did that leaf come from? Where'd it go? Also, Grovyle doesn't have a tail like Sceptile and Trico do. Bush, 2 leaves, bush. Kinda odd. Piplup just seems like a very smooth transition from Piplup to Empoleon. Of course, Empoleon is awesome looking. His Pokédex entry even states that he can cut solid ice with his wing blades. That's epic. And even as cool as he is, he still looks pretty classy. Looking sharp there, Empoleon. Sharp wing blades.
Pokemon, I choose you!
Yes, after I totally just dissed the Trico line, they have taken number 4 on my list. Why? Because nostalgia. You see, while most people's first experience with Pokemon was Red, Blue, or Yellow, mine was with the Gen 3 games. Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Okay, I had Crystal too, but I never played it seriously when I was little. Anyway, I convinced my mom to get me Sapphire version, and boy was I excited when I got my hands on that thing. At this point in time, I was living in Florida, and if there's one thing that state is teeming with, it's lizards, specifically anoles. I loved catching those things. Until one of them bit my finger and it swelled up. Even so, I loved lizards, so when the time came to choose my starter, who'd I choose? That's right, the lizard. I loved that Trico. In fact, it was only one of 2 Pokemon I had in the entire game. The other was Whismur. I managed to get pretty far with those 2. And obviously over time, they grew into Grovyle and Loudred, and then into Sceptile and Exploud. Sadly, I wasn't very skilled yet, so by the time I reached the last gym, Sceptile and Exploud's weaknesses kept me from advancing any further. It was at that point I made the decision to start a new game with Torchic instead. That went much smoother than the first time, but it just wasn't the same, you know? To make matters worse, I ended up losing my Sapphire game a couple years later. But only now do I feel sad knowing my team's gone forever. Isn't that weird? But on the bright side, I have a real lizard now, and her name's Sobi. She's a leopard gecko. Okay, that's a picture of her as a baby.
Pokemon, I choose you!
It may seem odd that despite the fact that Charizard is my mascot, that Charmander is only my 3rd favorite starter. Why is that? Don't rock. Jokes aside, Charizard, I admit, is overrated. Well, he is, okay? Virtually any Pokemon video you see, who's there? Charizard, because he's just too cool not to be. But I also feel Charizard's popularity overshadows many other Pokemon that are just as awesome. Oftentimes it seems that in arguments against newer generations of Pokemon, it always starts with, well, you know what, it may be cool, but it isn't Charizard cool. Charizard approves this message. That's just wrong. Also, why does Charizard get 2 Mega Evolutions? Blastoise and Venusaur only got 1. That doesn't seem very fair. Okay, I'm making it sound like I hate Charizard. I don't, he's awesome. So, what do I like about Charizard? Contradicting what I just said? The Mega Evolutions. Both Mega Charizard X and Y are beasts in competitive battle. If you ask me which one I like better, it's hard to say. I'd go with Y for battling, but X definitely for looks. But, you know, nothing can really beat classic Charizard. The design is just perfectly simple. Oh, it might also have to do with the fact that Charmander is a little lizard. I really seem to have a thing for lizards. Huh.
Pokemon, I choose you!
From an overrated fire starter to an underrated one. To be a Tepig, knowing one day you'll be just another firefighting type in the eyes of the judgmental Pokemon fandom. But not fast and agile like Infernape and Uber Blaziken. No, he wanted to go a separate route. Slow and bulky. If Fennekin had ended up being firefighting, then perhaps they would have given you a chance. Sadly, you sit in the rarely used tier, few people acknowledging what a true powerhouse you can be. Smashing walls and taking names. Flare Blitz, Heat Crash, Superpower, all fantastic moves you utilize. True, you sound like a fart at one point. But that is just a facade masking what you are going to become. You're also a very cute piggy. A cute piggy that will one day have a unibrow that rivals the likes of Ed and Bert, coupled with an epic beard made of pure fire. Hardcore, man. But you don't flaunt it, unlike those other fire starters. No, Tepig. For the first time, the grass starter finally had its day. While everyone fussed over Snivy, you humbly sat on the sidelines. For once, the fire starter wasn't in the spotlight. And that's why I like you, Tepig, Pignite, and Emboar. Because you're not overpowered or arrogant. You are perfectly humble, reliable partners. Couple honorable mentions before number 1. And now, my number 1 starter. I am not a hipster. Otherwise, Charmander would have never made this list. Let's just say I like grass types. For one, they can be used effectively against many gyms in main series games. 2, they can often learn moves that can paralyze and poison your opponents. And 3, they grow at a very fast and steady rate. But, practical reasons aside, I like the design of grass starters. They're always one of my favorite colors. Green. But it may surprise you that of all those grass starters, my favorite is actually just one of the most disliked starters in general. Chikorita. Oh, look at him, he's so cute! But the internet disagrees. What? I would just like to make a point that I loved Chikorita before I became obsessed with the interwebs. I mean, I just really liked it. I find it impressive when Game Freak makes a Pokemon that doesn't look like really anything. I mean, what exactly is it? Just cute. Meganium is also one of the prettiest starter evolutions I've ever seen. It just looks so sweet and nice, and apparently it even smells good. Why is that important? I have no idea, but it sounds good to me. Competitively, yeah, it's only good for support, but even then, that means there's still some use to it. And it's a dinosaur! I freaking love dinosaurs! One thing that bothers me, though, is that Bayleaf and Chikorita have a head leaf, and Meganium doesn't. Where'd it go? Did it just fall off or something, and those stamen thingies grew in its place for some reason? Yeah, it's petty. I have a similar issue with Froakie's line. Look. Bubbles, bubbles, tongue. Ugh, that's gross. Aside from that, I have no other issues with Chikorita's line. I just love them. And so, Chikorita is my favorite starter. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't agree with me? You probably don't. Feel free to leave your favorites in the comment section below, and subscribe for more stuff. Okay, thanks, bye.